The message is don't be afraid to take risks.
You've got 30 years of commitment behind you in the tech world and a single company. Right. I can't imagine it has been always smooth.
It is not a straight road, and it is okay.
What is your take on AI?
So it's not about getting to 99% uptime. It's going to get to 99.99999 uptime, right? And anyone, if you haven't worked globally, absolutely. Have you worked globally? You lived in Toronto,
I'm working for US, Canada, and India.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yeah. And we do have our operations in Kenya as well.
Oh, we won't talk about how far back in the 80s. I do that through the 3L principle.
Tell us one setback.
We were working on a major deployment at PepsiCo for global procurement, but we were failing miserably.
Tell us something about your ACE mentoring program.
I want to be that ace in your corner to help you navigate the unwritten rules of how to lead. Amazing. And I'm going to put it into the atmosphere.
Oh, amazing.
As a 2026 thing.
Hello everyone, this is Anamika from BuzzClan, and we are here for our podcast Rise and Real, talking about the journeys, talking about embracing the change, talking about making the difference. And here we have our very own Fern Johnson. Fern, I'm so happy to have you here. She
Thank
is
you.
Ex-CTO for PepsiCo, a woman in tech from last 30 years, a person. I can't stop talking about you. So here you go, Fern. Tell us about you, about your journey and everything.
Yeah. So thank you first for having me on Rise and Real. Anna, you've been fantastic as a host to say, hey, come on in and help you launch this new podcast and this journey that you're on. I think it's great when we can have leaders like yourself who have a heart for giving back to our community and sharing stories like mine and others that will help people out there who want to get into tech. So my mission right now is, leveraging my 30+ year career at a great organization, PepsiCo. I'm even still supporting the product as we sit here at the Cowboy Star, which is a PepsiCo pour, and I have my own PepsiCo product. But I really had a great 30-year career and journey, 30+ year career at PepsiCo. And so I'm happy to share about that and what worked for me, what didn't work for me, what was important to me, and because I really want to help more women in tech, leaders in tech, want to accelerate to leadership because it's so much fun. And it's fun to do it in the hottest platform out there, which is in technology, because of AI, because of machine learning, because of quantum physics, quantum computing. I feel like the world is your oyster, and this is like the place to be in tech. So I'm excited about getting into this conversation.
Amazing. Thank you, Fern. Well, let's go back in time. I wanted to know what sparked your journey into the world of IT and technology.
Well, so you've heard a little bit about my story already. So I talk about my father, Tom Johnson, rest in peace. My father just passed away this April, so we're forever grateful for all that he bestowed into us. But he was the foundation for me learning technology before I even knew technology was a thing. So I learned it from having all this technology in my home in the 80s. We won't talk about how far back in the 80s that is, because I'm an 80s baby.
You don't look like it.
But so I learned the technology there and just had a quest for knowledge and a quest for learning new things, and probably a little bit of boredom moving from New York City to Connecticut. And there kind of spawned a quest for leveraging and learning technology. And that kind of went into me getting into the field once I got to PepsiCo. It's been and this we'll talk about a little bit later. It's been ups and downs, twisty and turvy. It is not a straight road, and it is okay.
Yes, it is okay. Of course. I was learning about you, and I saw that you had an option from Bronx to Chicago to Florida and Dallas. You chose Dallas.
I chose Dallas.
Do you ever regret your decision?
No, I don't. So it's been a blessing for me because my parents followed me a few years afterwards. And it's so good when your parents can be close to you. And I kept telling them, don't move here. Don't move here. Don't move here. Because I was supposed to be here for 2 years and then back to New York. So I had lined up all my girlfriends to come meet with me. I'm like, hey, come visit. And by the time your second rotation, I'll be back to New York. Well, it's been 20 years and I'm still here in Dallas. It's been a blessing. My sister moved down with her family. And so the fact that we could help parent our aging parents together was really a really blessing. So no, and then from a global perspective, and I traveled all over the world, and Dallas is smack dab in the middle of the United States and a major hub. So it was great for all the travel I had. And I don't mind the heat, so I like living in Dallas.
I know. I moved from
You just moved from
Canada.
Toronto. How do you like it?
So I don't know. People have different opinions, but I like the heat. Maybe because I'm coming from East Coast, then I moved to Toronto.
Right.
Now I'm here, and I love every bit about it.
Yeah.
And definitely, I'll take your advice if there is anything that is coming up wrong, and I would love to have that. So you have been a TEDx speaker, right?
Yes.
How has the experience? You talk about 3L principle. Tell us all. What is that 3L principle?
So let me tell you about the TEDx experience. So wonderful opportunity to do the TEDx last October. And the TEDx South Lake community, thank you so much for asking me to do that TEDx and be a part of your 2024 program. It was an experience. So, when you do TEDx, you have like a short 15 to 18 minutes to get your message. Yeah. How are you going to make a difference in the world? What is it why should people listen to you? And you've got to memorize that. Yeah. I'm coming from corporate, used to working off of slides and notes and what have you. So I think it was really just first the memorization part that was a part of the experience for me, and the nervousness of speaking in a crowd. Now, I've spoken in crowds before, so that really wasn't the bad part. It was just like, how the heck do I memorize this whole thing and not make a mistake? And so I'm glad that we were able to have a successful TEDx. And I talked about getting unstuck, which is part of my platform. And I do that through the 3L principle. And that's learn, leap, and leverage. And then in the TEDx talk, I kind of break down what those three things mean. So learn is about the various ways that you can continue to take in knowledge. So just think about, back in my day in the 80s, we were just sitting in a classroom and there was a professor or a teacher sitting there kind of talking to you and sharing knowledge. Just think about all of the ways that you can gain knowledge today. So I'm going to talk about my favorite books here. So I've got a couple of my favorite books we'll talk about. On my phone, I have Masterclass. I use Masterclass all the time. I have information that's sent to me. McKinsey sends me little bits and pieces of information every day.
Yeah.
NACD sends me information on what's happening in businesses from a corporate director's board perspective. So I'm gaining knowledge in very different channels. I've got the news on, I've got my podcast. So it's all about this fact that you can learn at an accelerated pace because of the technology and have different forms of data and information coming at you. So the first is learn.
Yeah.
Continual learning. Keep learning. Never stop learning. And the next one is, how do you then take that and apply it? So how do you then move from learn to leap? And leap is, and this is one of the things I would tell anyone who listens to me who's younger in their career, take as many risks as humanly possible. You moved from Toronto.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what led you here, but that was a little bit of a risk to move from your comfort zone from East Coast to Toronto, Toronto to Dallas, right? I think that we just like, especially we as women, I have found, really like to just make sure every box is ticked before we step into an opportunity. Yeah. Men are more bold and brazen. And if they know 40% of the role, they're like, okay, I'll figure it out. People talk about faking it till you're making it. I kind of say you can be really selective on taking a good risk and then bring others with you, right? Bounce it off on other people. So leap, take risks. There's so much more on the other side of a good risk taken. So that's the second part of the 3L principle. And then the third is leverage. And what can you leverage from your relationships? What can you leverage from your learnings? How do you nurture your network before you need your network? And so and one of the authors I'm going to talk about today, absolutely love Malcolm Gladwell. And he talks about putting people into your atmosphere who will either be a maven or a salesperson, and what they can do to help transform. And that's one of his older books, but we'll talk about what's coming up in Revenge of the Tipping Point, which is the second edition of The Tipping Point, which is his first book. I think he's got like 8 or 9 books out there now. But anyway, so what can you leverage from your network? What can you leverage from a good experience or a bad experience? What can you leverage from a cybersecurity incident gone bad when you've been up for 48, 72 hours and just been working nonstop? You have to step back and say, all right, what can we learn from this so that we can revise it, and we can leverage from this so that we can revise it and move it forward. So the 3L principle, I'm turning it into a book.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's upcoming? When are
upcoming? So it's going to be the 3L principle is going to be a book. I'm going to kind of expand upon the concepts we have there, and I'm going to put it into the atmosphere.
Oh, amazing!
As a 2026 thing.
Great.
So finish it this year.
So it's learn, leap, and leverage.
Learn, leap, and leverage. It's coming into a book called the 3L Principle. And I have to, before I go any further, give props to my sister who came up with the 3L Principle when we were kids, younger. Wow. But her definition was a little bit different. So I'm going to give her her flowers now because I've modified it. Hers was live, learn, and let go. Live, learn, let it go. So I'm giving her props to my ever-loving older sister. I've now modified that 3L principle to learn, leap, and leverage. And hopefully you'll buy that book when it comes out in 2026.
Yeah. Oh, well, great. We all are looking for that. Well, live, learn, let go. I think this is something we need to have in our daily life.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. Setback is step up for success, right? Tell us one setback that you have faced, because many of our audience even, there are situations where we feel, oh, let's quit. But you got 30 years of commitment behind you in the tech world and a single company. Right. So I can't imagine it has been always smooth.
Oh my gosh, no, not at all.
So share a story with us.
So you know what? Gosh, I will say it was around about 2013, and we were working on a major deployment at PepsiCo for global procurement, and it was a business process optimization. We were also outsourcing parts of the business, and we were putting in a technology platform, like similar to an Amazon today, where you could buy merchandise off it for your company. And we labeled it My Buy. And it's actually one of my phenomenal favorite projects, and it's one of my most impressive and for me, lasting impressions on one of the things I did at PepsiCo. But we were failing miserably. Technology, like testing wasn't working. We were missing the dates for deployment, and it was really a time for us to stop and reset. I had a leader he was a phenomenal leader, and his name was Majid Saradian. Majid, thank you for believing in me. He supported me through those trials and tribulations and issues that we had technically, and just said, Fern, you know how to fix it. So we're taking a pause on the project. You've got 30 days to fix the issues, reset the plan, and we're going to go at it again. The business partner, took us out to the woodshed and just it was like gave us our lashings of like, hey, you can't have this happen to us again. But we came out, we reset, we just paused, we thought about what was important, how do we deliver that? And we came out better and stronger. We saved the company millions and millions of dollars by implementing the solution and changing the business process. And then we were able to take it globally. So it was a setback in that we were failing. Yeah. We had to stop the project. We had to reset everything that we were doing, rethink everything we were doing. Our business partner at the time and our vendor partner at the time reset everything we were doing. And then once we moved forward, we nailed it. We hit it out the park. We made massive amounts of savings of money. And then we had the wonderful opportunity to travel the world. So yeah, that was my setback. It was a setup for success. We could have all quit. We could have all said, we're done with this. What was great about it was our leaders believed in us, and they stood behind us, and they inspected what they expected, and we delivered.
Amazing. That's
so that was a good story.
And everybody should be like that. But tell me, all these setbacks, all these situations somehow even affect you mentally and personally when you go back home.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
how you deal with it, because right now you see that emotions are at par for everyone. They're unable to manage it,
Right.
they're unable to balance it. What you did to balance it out, and what you suggest to today's generation to do that?
Okay, so I believe in the 4 F's: faith, family, friends, finances. And that's my foundation for keeping balanced. And I'm heavy in my faith, so I pray. I go to church, I pray. I have a good relationship with my higher power, so that may be different for everyone, but that's one. My family and my friends really help ground me. I have a sister I'm extremely close to. My parents are no longer with us, but they were role models for me. And I have a friend base that I can tap, that I can talk to, and I can scream and
That's great.
or I can celebrate the highs, also the lows. So I think it's important to do that. So that's what kind of keeps me grounded and really focused around what's really important.
Yeah.
So
that's great. That's great. Not talking about AI is like texting without emojis. So here I wanted to know, you have been the part of major digital transformations, major part of the tech. What is your take on AI? You do a lot of podcasts. You talk to so many people in tech. What is your take on AI? What is the future according to you? How much it is going to impact the tech world?
So changing that one piece that you said, it's not going to impact the tech world. It's going to impact the world, period.
Yeah.
So I think it's broader than just the tech world, the tech industry. It's a mainstream impact that it's going to have. So I feel like AI should be a part of everyone's everyday. AI should be a part of everyone's everyday. I use AI every day, an AI tool every day. So, I mean, ChatGPT is one of my favorites. Claude's my boyfriend. I've been talking about me and Claude dating. He's not exclusive. I don't understand why. He doesn't just serve me, but he serves everybody. But just figure out what tools work well for you and then start leveraging them in your everyday. Now, from a business perspective, so let's talk about the field I was in. Let's think about AI operations. How can we do more predictive? How can we have more self-healing systems, more predictive analysis, more predictive things that are happening with our environment that we can correct? So I think it's going to speed up our ability to change technology. It's going to speed up or reduce outages, right, and keep the business flat, which is what they want, right? They want a very stable environment. So it's not about getting to 99% uptime. It's going to get to 99.99999 uptime, right? And AI will take those points, those sub points off. That will make a difference. So AI is here. We should all be embracing it.
Yeah.
I think the best thing that business leaders can do today is take a course on AI for business transformation. So not getting into the technical bits and bytes and pieces of it, but how to leverage it for good within your business, how to look at your business processes and embed AI into them, just like Copilot's done, just like a lot of Gemini's done on the Google platform.
I would love to ask you on a personal note, though even I use AI a lot in my personal, professional research, operations work, but in the day-to-day life of a normal person, right now we also see the post, like it scares them out. There's a lot of data into AI, a lot of personal data, a lot of personal pictures, where you form Ghibli art, you do a lot of stuff with your pictures and all. Is it really scary?
So there's always some level of technology for good, technology for bad, right? So AI can be for good, AI can be for bad. Ethical AI is, trying to address that. But just like in cybersecurity, they're good actors and they're bad actors. So I think there's always going to be two sides of that equation. It's just how do you deal with that? And then what safeguard protections do you put around you? So in all of the young folks I talk about, and I mentor today, I say, hey, you need to understand your social platforms and how you're presented on them, because they will live into perpetuity. And so for you to say, I don't care, and now you're trying to go for a government position or you're trying to go for a senior leadership position, and they've looked back and they've seen your social platform and they might be like, maybe not. So I think we have to be mindful that the data lives on, and it's hard to erase some of the data that's out there. It's very hard. So be careful with what you put out there and protect it. Make sure you protect it.
This is for all.
It's for everyone.
Normal audience, you need to be careful. You need to be careful.
Very careful, very careful.
Tell us something about your ACE mentoring program. Like how it came in you to give back to others. And put some light to that.
So to put some light to that. So the ACE mentoring program, and I would love for anyone to apply. It's at theferneffect.com. So www.theferneffect.com. You can apply to my ACE mentoring program. I have been mentored since the day I walked into PepsiCo. And I've had multiple mentors and I've had sponsors. You choose your mentors. Sometimes your mentors are appointed to you, but your sponsors choose you. So I really believe that you should mentor. You should two-way. I should mentor others and people should mentor me. So even now I'm still having mentors who mentor me. So my ACE mentoring platform, the acronym ACE means I will always be authentic, relevant to our culture, what's happening in today's culture, and based upon my experiences. And so I want to be that ace in your corner to help you navigate the unwritten rules of how to lead, unwritten rules of what's happening in technology, or what will it take for you to move to wherever you're trying to go. So it's authentic because how you need to be mentored, Anna, is going to be different from how Malcolm needs to be mentored, or how from Joan needs to be mentored, or Lakshmi has to be mentored. And I want to make sure that I can tailor that to each person. So I have two platforms. I do one-on-one mentoring for 3 months, and then I do group mentoring. And the ACE Mentoring Circles is meant to bring 4 people plus myself. We learn from the leader, we learn from each other in the group, and we help grow together.
Oh, amazing, amazing. I know some amazing mentors in my life. They help me embrace the change.
Yes.
So I love that. How you came into this field? What, like when you get off from PepsiCo, was that already in your mind that you're going to do something like that?
You know what? That's a great question. As I started to think about, as I hit my 30th year at PepsiCo, I said, gosh, what does life look like after PepsiCo? And what will I really want to lean into? And my mentor, sponsor, my life mentor, life sponsor, rest in peace, Ron Parker. He was the Senior Vice President of Chief Diversity Officer at PepsiCo. He retired, I want to say in like 2012, 2014. But he still was a very active mentor and sponsor in my life. He said, Fern, you've got all this great knowledge. You've traveled the world. You've led small teams, large teams. You've done transformations. You've had failures. You've had successes. What are you going to do with this? What's your give back? So he challenged me to think about how would I take all that's here and my vast experiences and give it back. And it resonated with me that I needed to do something that spoke to me, that I could give a personal lens on. If you think about it, all this time I've been mentored. So I know what it's like to have someone pushing you, someone lifting you, someone supporting you, and someone taking you to the corner and say, girl, that's not the way it gets done. And here's how you have to do it. And I feel like as I've traveled the world, Anna, there's so many women who I still feel are asking for that type of mentorship. And as I travel the world for the past 20 years with PepsiCo, I didn't see a lot of me and yous in leadership. Women of color in technology leading the pack at the highest of levels. And so it's like, okay, well, I can now help that generation, the next generation, lift them up. If I can inspire them, if I can give them a couple of tools and tricks that help them accelerate. So my mentor and my sponsor put the bug in me to say, you've got to give back. I've always had a servant leadership style. And as I kind of stepped into this next phase after leaving PepsiCo in February, I was like, I think this is really where, I don't know, you get to a point where think with your head, feel with your heart, and then you got to go with your gut. And when you start doing things where all 3 things align, it becomes really easy. It doesn't feel like work anymore. And that's what this has been for me. That's what this journey has been for me.
Amazing fun. So again, like PepsiCo is close to heart because we listen a lot to Indra Nui. She has been an inspiration, and we see a lot of women like you in the leadership doing a lot of stuff, to give it back to the society. I wanted to know, what is the difference in the day like when you were at PepsiCo and now when you are here giving back into the world?
So the last couple of years, and the only way I could, get to the gym is I worked out with a trainer at 5 a.m. in the morning. So in my PepsiCo days, I was at the gym 5 a.m. in the morning working out with a trainer just to make sure I got my exercise in. Thank you, Jesus, God, Allah, Krishna, and whoever else. I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. anymore.
So, Fern,
yes.
You have done a lot of work into the global infra. You have met so many people from different cultural diversity. You have traveled a lot. How you embrace that in your team? How you were able to create that momentum that everybody was at the same speed, same level, and things were smooth?
So first of all, things are never always smooth, right? Okay. But like the swan who swims gracefully underwater and is not flapping under here, as you mature as a leader, you understand how to work that finesse.
Yeah.
I think I will give, to answer your question directly, I think I want to give a lot of kudos to my upbringing. So born and raised in New York City for the first 12 years of my life. And it was a salad bowl mix of culture and diversity every day, from my neighborhood of Black folks, white folks, Asian, coming from Europe, coming from Italy, coming from Germany, just all these cultures and different religions. So I grew up in a predominantly Jewish neighborhood. So I learned a lot about the Jewish faith and a lot about how their customs are. That transition to when I went globally, I just kind of resonated with understanding the cultural not differences, what are the cultural things that are important in that environment? Mm-hmm. And it's very different with how you do business in Latin America, with how you do business in China, with how you do business in Australia, New Zealand. Yeah. Like, let me give you a for instance, and you have to embrace it. And when you do, it's like, it becomes fun because you can then understand their culture. And then when you can relate to it, you connect with people on a human level. So I've been to Australia twice now. And every time they start a formal meeting, they take the first couple of minutes to pay homage to the land. Okay. So everyone honors their culture and the land, the Aborigines, and who actually imparted wisdom and knowledge in the spaces that they are in before they start any meeting. And it's just a known that that's how they start a meeting. Yeah. And what's nice is before any business goes on, they talk about their land and their history. Every important meeting. And I was like, this is phenomenal because it keeps the culture top of mind, right? It keeps it ever present. Yes, so I think that one is just embracing the culture, embracing the diversity of the different regions I had to work within was something that came natural for me because I generally love people. And I just was growing up in a culture that I grew up in an environment where having multiple cultures at you, with you, was a positive. So I actually don't do well with any one of anything. So if it was like all white people or all Black people or all Indian or all Asian, no, I want everyone to come together and mix it up because I like that diversity of culture, history, knowledge, thought, perspective to drive an engaging conversation. So first that was that. And then it's understanding what's important business for that area. And so I'll give you an example. I was doing a major project, that project I talked about before in procurement, and we were trying to sell it into Latin American markets that just couldn't afford it. Their dollar had flipped upside down. And so it's, well, how do you get creative to make it a win-win and finding creative solutions that allow you to get your business process out there, right? But do it in a way that they can afford it and they can get reap the value out of it. And so I like that, having to be creative and constantly thinking of ways to make it work, not say, no, it can't work, but here's how we can make it work. And I think when you come with that can-do spirit and attitude, and also the third piece that people like that. The third piece is that's worked well is I've been a leader that was always in the trenches. So I didn't work up on high. It was, okay, we need to be in the field. We need to be in the field. We need to go visit. We need to go visit. And so it made for a crazy travel schedule for me, but people knew that Fern wasn't just sitting in the office in Plano, Texas. No, she would come out and she would make the visits and talk with the leadership team and talk with the business and talk with the teams. And I think that's important too. So amazing. I know. So anyone, if you haven't worked globally, absolutely. Have you worked globally? You lived in Toronto,
I worked for means I'm working for US, Canada, and India.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and we do have our operations in Kenya as well.
Oh,
But not like you. You have been like global. That's amazing.
I think the only thing that I would invite you to consider, or anyone to consider, is if you have an opportunity to work outside of your home country and understand how to do business in that foreign place for you, that's eye-opening too. And I tell people who are from here in the United States, like, go outside the United States and work somewhere else. It will humble you to all that we do have here and how much we have here, but it'll change your perspective on how to get business done in a different capacity. So I think that's important too. And also how technology changes a little bit when you go around the world, and what's important in different places around the world, based upon what's happening there. So I'm a global girl.
Yes, you are. You are. So when you were at PepsiCo, I'm sorry I'm coming back to this, but
that's okay.
When you were at PepsiCo, did you ever foresee this much of change in technology and how the future will react to AI? Means people were talking about it in 2017, but it's not in the horizon now. It's right here.
Technology's made huge leaps and bounds, right? And since over my 30-year journey, I think about what were the pivot points that technology really I think we're at one now with AI, right? So I would say the internet was another one, just the rise of internet. Email was another one, and just how that took off. So am I surprised about the technology? No. I think that there's no way to keep up with every last piece of it. So pick your niche, pick your area, and lean there. There's very few unicorns out there who can keep abreast of every piece of technology that's going out in that space. But I think that to the flip side of that, there's something out there for everyone to get deep with in the technology and then bring to market or bring to light or bring to business and add value. So what I like about what's happening and how technology has transformed business is everyone's super smarter about technology. So, used to be the tech guys would come in and they would know all the stuff. Well, no, your business teams are pretty darn savvy around what's happening with the technology. They're savvy as a user, as an investor, right? And also as, okay, how can I transition and leverage that to make my business run faster, reduce costs? So I think that's a positive and a negative, that you've got our business partners are a lot smarter with how this technology is a major play in their everyday.
Yeah, great. What kind of homework will you suggest to the small business or somebody who would love to bump into the entrepreneurship world in the AI and the tech world? What should they do in the homework before they grab the technology inside?
Well, definitely back to learn. So get educated, get certified, and then know the business you want to enter in. And when you enter that business, know that business cold. If it's supply chain, if it's retail, if it's pharma, understand the business and then continue to learn the technology so that you could figure out what's the intersection to merge those two together. Then once you can do that, it becomes really easy for whoever you're selling that concept into to say yes.
Yeah.
You have to be able to speak, I call this like bi-directional language. You have to be able to speak the business terms and the technology terms, then put those things together. So I would tell anybody getting into AI, now, one, be an active user, leverage today's tools, which can't be any easier on your app. Understand your business and the business you want to serve, and then find small wins and small ways to take AI and embed that, even if it's as simple as, okay, Copilot's going to be our everyday tool. And I'm not here selling Copilot. I'm just saying, just make it simple and make it every day. And then people see the value, and people will say, okay, I can see how I can now leverage this in my business.
Small wins are important.
Small steps.
Big wins.
Small steps. Girl, friends, Malcolm Gladwell has a new book out. It's called Revenge of the Tipping Point. And he's written, so he actually is a Canadian-born author who now lives here in the U.S. He's written The Tipping Point, Blink, Outliers, David and Goliath, Talking to Strangers. He has like about 8 or 9 New York Times bestsellers. So he actually was born in England, but raised in Canada and lives in New York. So one of my favorite authors. I've read The Tipping Point, Outliers, Bling, David and Goliath. And so I'm going on a trip this Saturday.
Yeah.
One of my girlfriends is having a big 50th. And so we're doing a girls trip. And this is the book I'm bringing. It's called Revenge of the Tipping Point. So
I'm going to have that too.
So this is like, he took the Tipping Point book and kind of turned it on its head because of all the AI is bringing. And so I will be able to tell you, hopefully by the end of the weekend when I get back, how good this book is. So this is this is like on my reading list, one. But one of your questions was like, what's my go-to?
Yes, I did.
So go-to is by Harvey Coleman. This book is almost 30 years old.
Oh, amazing.
And it's called Empowering Yourself, The Organizational Game Revealed by Harvey J. Coleman. So I found out about this book. One of my organizations I've been a member of for 17 years, phenomenal organization that really fosters the development of leaders in tech, is IT Senior Management Forum, ITSMF. And I went to one of their leadership programs, and it was called C-Level Leadership Academy. I think we now call it Executive Academy. And Harvey Coleman himself came in and talked about this book. And at the end of the day, the game hasn't changed. Brick and mortar companies are still staying the same. Leadership has stayed the same. So even though we have all this technology coming in, we have different frameworks that we're going after, right? The crux of businesses still run the same. So the game hasn't changed. So learn the game and play to the game.
Yes.
So Empowering Yourself, that's a classic, always on the ready, always on the read. So this is like old will never die. Read it, read it, read it. On the new, Malcolm Gladwell, love him, love him, love him. I'll give you more about that. And so now, rapid fire.
Yes.
So here we go with
rapid fire. Let's go.
So Fern, one word that describes Fern leadership style.
A servant leader. Always a servant leader.
Yes, always. What is work-life balance for you?
It's not work-life balance, it's work-life integration. I don't think that you can just do work and you can just do life. You've got to integrate them together.
That's nice. Work-life integration. Okay. Your proudest career achievement till date?
We did a program with PepsiCo called PepsiCo Feeds America, and we put our head and our hearts together to serve in the community. And for 10 years, I was able to run that program, and we put 20 million meals in our community across 55 cities.
Amazing, Fern. Well, that's something new I learned about you. Yeah.
Yep.
What is the podcast you always recommend?
Two Lit Chicks.
Yes.
How in the world would I not recommend Two Lit Chicks?
Yeah.
Leaders in Tech with myself and my co-host partner, Dr. Alicia Makaye.
Yeah, amazing. Two Lit Chicks.
You can find it on all the socials. Two Lit Chicks.
Amazing. One thing people don't know about you.
If you're in my circle, you know I love to cook. I love to entertain. I have a mushy heart. That's a moment. I have a mushy heart.
Your message to the girl dreaming of leading in tech one day.
Take a risk. The message is, don't be afraid to take risks. This world is your oyster. Live it, dream it, do it.
Yes. Live it, dream it, and do it. Yes. One breakthrough moment from mentoring.
You never know how one word, one hug, one message can change somebody's life. And the impact that you're having, sometimes it won't be felt or heard right away, but somebody will come back to you 5 years later and said, you said this one thing to me, and it was the game changer that lifted the light for me.
Yeah.
It was the game changer that made me believe in myself. You gave me a hug right when I needed it.
Yes.
And I think those are the small things. You gave me a book when I didn't know that's the book I needed. You gave me a journal when I didn't know I needed to write.
Yes.
You picked up the call. My mentor, I was going through a crisis. She picked up the call at 3:00 in the morning when I was crying.
Yes.
Those are the things that are life-changing.
Yes. Advice you wish you would have known when you were 20?
Learn a second language. So by now, like seriously, I don't know Spanish. Like what the heck? I studied French. In high school and college.
Yeah.
It's literally here.
Yeah.
If I took a brush up course and then I lived in Paris or lived in somewhere that was French speaking, it would go from here to here. But I think that we should all be speaking 2 to 3 languages. And I think that is that's unfortunate here in the United States that we don't make it mandatory for you to learn a second language. But if I could have 20 years ago say, or go live somewhere that forced me to have that language, I would do that. So,
well, so last thing, second the pack to leading the pack.
Yes.
One last thing that you can talk about it.
I would love for you guys to engage with me on theferneffect.com. I'd love for you to be a part of the ACE mentoring program. I'm here to help you get unstuck so that you can lead the pack. And have all the fantastic opportunities that have in technology. And so I would say take the first step and don't be fearful.
Amazing. So here we have Fern Johnson. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. An amazing time. You are an amazing host.
Oh, thank you so much. It was so inspiring.
Rise and real. We are going to be real and we're going to rise together.
Thank you. Thank you, Fern.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.